importantly, Vaida ji has got the Dada Saab Phalke Award. And both of these personalities have something to do with Bhanuvataya. We are going to be talking about this in our later speech. Warm welcome, Ashu. Great to see you. Radhika, Sonam. I think today's session on work to screen or the best book on cinema is something which the Film Heritage Foundation, which I have been running since 2015, is so important in terms of what we are trying to achieve through research, through the outreach programs, to encourage a lot of young scholars across to write books on cinema. And there's so much of work happening in our regional cinema, but I feel very little in terms of what happens in Hindi. The foundation has been collecting books from all over India. We collect each and every newspaper which comes, including yours, Sonam. All your interviews are with us, or Ashu's interview. So I think it's so important when we are here today to talk about the best book on cinema, because it's going to encourage a whole generation of writers, young writers, aspiring writers, who are going to emerge to start writing about cinema. I'm not going to waste more time. I'm going to ask Sonam. Everybody knows Sonam. She's a style icon, national award-winning actor, producer. She has so many facets and diversity of roles she's performed. Sonam, I would request you to come and announce the nominations for the best book on cinema. Yeah, please. Thank you.
The nominations for the best book on cinema are Shadow Craft, Visual Aesthetics of Black and White Indian Cinema by Gayatri Prabhu and Nikhil Govind, Pre-Partition Punjab's Contribution to Indian Cinema by Ishtiyaq Ahmed, Pure Evil, The Bad Men of Bollywood by Balaji Vittal, Mahatma on Cellulite by Prakash Makhdoom, Kishore Kumar, The Ultimate Biography by Anirudh Bhattacharya. And the special mentions are Balancing the Wisdom Tree, Anthology of Women Alumni, edited by Gauri Chakraborty, and Parveen Babi, A Life by Karishma Upadhyay. Congratulations.
Yeah, let's start. And, can I request Ashutosh Gowarikar, filmmaker? Who doesn't know Ashutosh Gowarikar? Epic filmmaker, national award winner. Shruti. Shruti is a costume designer. She's worked on several films, including Jubi.
नीचे बैठो ना सर प्लीज
नीचे
बैठो
नीचे देखो मोबाइल मैम या सनम जी
Excuse me, Dada.
So we're going to start this session. We're going to talk about one of the legends, the first woman ever to win in India. She was the first person to win an Oscar. She was also one of the earliest, or the only woman in the progressive arts group. She was perhaps the first professional as far as costume designing is concerned. We're talking about Bhanuvataya, and we're talking about this book, which she I don't know how many of you have read this book.
I would love to have this.
Yeah. No, this is my copy. She signed it for me, and I want
Priya,
to
just
read
tell her to sit.
something today, what she wrote and why we are here.
There are cameras.
She says costume designing is all about giving an actor absolute confidence in the character he or she is going to inhabit, about creating a mood, transporting the audience to a different era or place. It requires organization, artistry, discipline, expertise, imagination, and more often than not, many hours of research. So let me start with you, Ashu, first. How much do you agree? You worked with her on 3 films, I think? 2 films. Tell us the process of working with Parvati, because she's come from a background which is so research oriented.
Yes.
And she's come from Kolkata. I mean, she had a whole stint at Power Painter. She was also someone who had that immense knowledge of history of cinema and worked her way up through. How was it working with her and developing the costumes of your films?
So, good evening. Those are golden words what you just said. It was absolutely wonderful to be working with her. It was an honor actually. And when I wrote Lagan, when the script was done, even before I had anyone on board for producing or acting, I knew that the costumes will be done by Bhanusai. And quite simply for me, the most important thing was that here is a person who has almost dressed every heroine right through the 70s. And every iconic silhouette that we see of the actresses, all are hers. You know, today if you make a 60-second trailer on the heroines of India, 70% of the outfits will be hers.
Yeah, that's true.
And for me, my only worry was, will she say yes to doing a film with a director who's not had 2 successful films in the previous ones. So I tried to play the card of me Kolhapurcha hai, tumhi pan Kolhapurcha hai. So kind of my first introduction to her was that, and that kind of melted it down for her. And I narrated the entire script to her. She loved it. And coming to your question about her research, see, sometimes you do research and you're told that you have a meeting on so-and-so day and the topic is going to be so-and-so. You go and do your research and then you go for the meeting. I've just narrated to her the entire script. I finished and she said she really liked it. And she said, I have a request. So what? Is it possible for you to change the year of the film? Can you push it a little ahead? And at that time, the year was 1885. And I'd chosen that year because that was the year when the International Congress was formed. So I thought that it would be nice to have the birth of the INC and Bhuvan as a hero rising. So I said, okay, but why do you say that? He said, because Queen Victoria was in mourning at that time. And she came out of her mourning by 1890 and the latter period. And that's when all the wardrobe, all the silhouettes of the entire British landscape from black and grey became colorful. And I was absolutely blown because that came just that's a real mark of how much knowledge she had without even thinking about it. And of course, I was happy to do that, and that's how 1893 Champane came about.
Yeah, no, it's incredible because if you really look at what her relationship with Kapoor Painter, one of the great filmmakers of Kolhapur. And I remember reading in the book where she went first time to the set of Pratibha, where she saw Durga Kote in that dress, and that sort of inspired. And the early reflections of Georgette, a lot of work on Georgette, you know, which you can see when she was dressing up Nargis, or when she was also working with Kamini Kaushal in her, you know, well before it was all about tailoring. It was not about, even many people who do not know this, that even A.K. Hangal was a tailor, and so was K. Asif. K. Asif did clothes, you know, and but that conversion to a costume designer began with Bhanumati, and you can see the range of costumes she did all over. Sonam, you're a style icon today. Yeah, you are.